All right, welcome to MazzaMedia, live late on a Thursday night, and we got a show to talk about here and go over. Just one second. All right, let's get back here. Okay, there we go. All right, I just didn't like the shirt I had on. I freaking hated it. It was so wrinkled looking. It looked horrible on camera. Sitting in the closet, it was a lot more wrinkled than I expected. I'm like, okay, I didn't have time to. I wasn't planning on doing a show tonight, and all of a sudden I'm like, let's do a show. I want to do a show right now. I just got the desire to do that and do that right now. So this evening I caught a replay. I was laughing at Lauren's comment there. A replay of Aidan Kearney's most recent stream from today. So I got to catch that this evening. And it's a shocking video. There's an incident that took place down in Connecticut. It's basically an independent journalist out of Long Island called Long Island Audit. His name is Paul Reyes. And he has a very big following on YouTube as well. He has probably close to 1 million followers online. And this is definitely something that's very, very relatable to Aidan Kearney and the Karen Read case. And I think for anyone that's a supporter of Karen Read or is a supporter of Turtleboy, this incident maybe definitely echoes a lot of what we've seen go on here in the state of Massachusetts. So this is extremely shocking stuff. And for me, like when I got into the Karen Read case, it's this kind of stuff that really, to quote the great Peter Griffin from Quahog, Rhode Island on Family Guy, it really grinds my gears. You know, it really grinds my gears. So this is unbelievable what's gone on. But what's even crazier is the fallout of this as well, and what's gone on, and exactly how it's kind of what's happened to Paul Reyes. Now, I'll tell you, when you see these Groton police officers and you see these Connecticut State police officers, then you see Paul Reyes of Long Island Audit and everything that he kind of, what ends up happening, it's definitely reminiscent of a lot of things that we as Karen Read supporters and Turtleboy supporters have seen. Just one moment again. Sorry, I'll be right back. That's what happens when I do a show that I don't plan to do live. All these little things happen. My fans in the background, it's pinging every 10 seconds. So I'm like, I gotta twist the thing a little bit and just adjust it a little bit. So this is what happens when you have a live show, right, ladies and gentlemen? So thank you for tuning in. Again, an impromptu show tonight. We're going to be talking about, I had started off with a blue-collared shirt. Didn't like it, too wrinkled. Switched to a T-shirt. Fan in the background was making some clanging, banging noises. Didn't like it, got to fix it. So I'm a perfectionist, so not always a perfectionist, but sometimes I am. All right, so we're going to get to that video here in just a moment. And I like I said, this is shocking stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing fired up now. So let's do it. All right, 1 second. second. They're changing a lot. The software I use, they're changing a lot about it right now. So they're just everything they do is different now. So the mechanics of all the sharing and all the other stuff is just definitely different right now on StreamYard. So let's take a look here. So we are looking at an independent journalist here. He is out of Long Island. And what's happened here is that this gentleman has decided to go to the property of a Connecticut State Police officer's home. Okay. Apparently there was essentially a controversy over a lot of things. So what that was like the overtime. Basically, what it kind of happened here in Massachusetts, there was an overtime scandal. So this journalist, Paul Reyes, decides he's going to go to the state police officer's home. And similar to what you've seen Turtleboy do, or even local news media people do, sometimes they knock on people's doors. So this journalist decides to do that. And he goes about knocking on the door when there's a situation here that really gets intense very quickly. Now, this is not your typical story of get off my lawn, like Clint Eastwood said in the movie Gran Torino. It's not really like this. This is an officer here that is very intense and is very confrontational. And I would definitely say he is beyond, like, for example, I think he's made his message clear. Please get off my property. But then this thing gets very, very intense. And that's really what's so notable about all this. So this is the video here. Let's play this.
Spit in my face! Get that gun out of your
goddamn Connecticut State Troop.
I don't care who you are.
Right now.
You spit in my face!
My property.
You're going to jail now. Look at this. Look at this. He's don't care because you don't face any consequences. Don't spit in my face. This is the biggest mistake you ever made. No, it's not.
So what you see here is that this officer, now this is an off-duty state police officer from Connecticut, is brandishing a firearm, basically his sidearm. His standard issue, not probably a 9mm handgun. He brandishes this. To me, that's very controversial because this incident is not
because you don't face any consequences.
This is the biggest mistake you ever made.
No, it's not. This is the biggest mistake you ever made. Put the gun in.
So he's holding a gun. Now, I'm not one of those people like, oh my God, he's got a gun. I don't really react to things like that. But this is a situation in which it doesn't really call for having a gun being brandished at all, which is definitely alarming. It's definitely not called for in this particular situation. So let's go ahead and continue forward here with this. He kind of shows a few clips of the more notable stuff up front. Is it skipping? Like Steph Dub, when you say my video is skipping, does that mean that like me physically, when I'm talking, does that mean that I'm skipping, or does that mean the video that I'm sharing is skipping? I know there was a skip. There was a little glitch there for a minute in the stream that I saw. So just let me know. Is it me? It's me though. So when I talk, it's glitching. Okay. So yeah, I think something was spinning a little bit there. Is it fine now? Is everything good there? It was. Everyone's saying past tense, like it was both. So it sounds like it's okay. Let's take a look and see what people have to say here. Okay, it's fine now. I'll wait for two or three more. Okay, all good. Now you're good. Perfect. Thank you guys. All right, great. Thank you for letting me know. It does happen. I saw something spin when I was loading this video up, and then it seems like it's okay now. So, okay, here we go. Let's continue. So he shows, thank you for letting me know, people, folks. He shows a few kind of highlights here, then it kind of shows the whole video.
He spit in my face. I want him around.
States that spitting on somebody is an assault. Turn around for me.
Do what you got to do, man. Do what you got to do. This is ridiculous. Hey, what's up, guys? Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. We are currently at an undisclosed affluent location here in the state of Connecticut. Excuse me, Corrupticate. We're here today, as you can see, to peacefully exercise our First Amendment right to protest and resist tyranny, and also to investigate allegations of corruption that has been made against Connecticut State Trooper Sergeant Bryan Fahey. As you can see behind me, Sergeant Bryan Fahey is no stranger to tyranny and corruption. Fahey. I was told through an anonymous tip that he is receiving fraudulent overtime every single year. Now,
so everyone's saying it's when I play audio. Okay, so let me do this. Let me remove this. All right, because I just literally myself just checked my phone and got a little bit of a taste for the lagging as well. I saw the video itself lagging of him. So let's do some refreshing here. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen, stand by. Stand by. Sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. Okay. All right, I'm going to give this another shot. Let's see how this works for us. I apologize for any technical difficulties here. I don't want to do that. Yeah, the video jump cuts. All right, we're going to get this figured out tonight. All right, I'm just hoping that my browser hasn't been open so long that it just needed to be refreshed or something like that. So let me just let this play through. Just start to let me know if it's good or not as it plays. One thing I do like is I like how they drive around this big truck, like a storage, almost like a storage type of truck, you know, and it's got the video play to everything they want to show. That's funny. Okay, let's play this through. Let's see what's going on.
Overtime, $75,000. How can this be? Does he stay late when closed after 5 o'clock? Does he go back on the streets to patrol? I mean, I was told by my sources that he was kicked out of patrol and he's a danger to the community. That's why they have him working from a desk job. It didn't add up. And that's why I came here to Sergeant Bryan Fahey's neighborhood to protest his tyranny and corruption, the lack of accountability, but also, as any good independent journalist would, to ask questions.
All right. How was that so far? I don't want to spend the whole night on technical difficulties here. Jeez. All right, I'm going to get this back in a sec after the ads are off. Someone get dinged on. All right, here we go.
So as always, you always want to be on the lookout for any no trespassing signs, restricted area signs. I don't see why there would be in this neighborhood here, but you know, we just want to ask some questions, see what's going on with this overtime allegation. Hopefully he answers us. It says here, the Faheys looks like there aren't any no trespassing signs. We're just coming in peace to ask some questions. Oh.
So let's just be clear here. You can walk up and knock on somebody's door, right? We understand that. And also, he also verifies walking in about the no trespassing signs. There's something that says no trespassing, like you said, restricted area. There's nothing like that, which is important because if you ever see a sign like that, you don't want to, you know, even when I'm out for walks, you know, I like to look around when I walk. I'll see occasionally a property or two that has no trespassing signs, no solicitation signs, all that stuff as well. So walking up to someone's door, regardless of who they are or who you are, is legal so long as it's not a no trespassing sign, right? You can't just, if there's no trespassing, then that's an issue. So here we go.
I'm currently being recorded, his Ring camera said.
All right, here comes the officer.
Hey, Sergeant Fahey, how are you?
You gotta get off my property.
All right, just for everybody that knows, this is a state trooper, Sergeant Fahey, for Connecticut, the state of Connecticut, not Massachusetts. So this is his home here.
Nope, there is no posted sign.
Yeah,
There's no
right
problem.
here.
Do you have any?
Can I help you?
Hey, Sergeant Fahey, how are you?
You gotta get off my property. No trespassing.
Nope, there is no posted sign.
Yeah,
There's no
right
problem.
here.
Do you have any? Let's go. Do you have any comment on the allegations that you
Get off
are?
my property
I am
right now.
moving. Do you have any comment on the allegations that you are receiving?
Now, this is not to take the cop's side when I make this following comment, but I would say this. If I were this officer, similar to how I usually respond when door-to-door solicitors or other people show up at my door, times I just don't open up the door. In this instance, maybe he thought, Sean wasn't going to leave until he opened up the door and came out. But in this situation, this officer decides he wants to come out, to get off my lawn speech, essentially, get out of here, and then that's it. So Sean complies with this now. We need to know this. So this gentleman, the sergeant here, has come out. Maybe a gentleman's not the word. This sergeant has come out. Get off my lawn. Get off my property. Get out of here. Okay, fine. They start to retreat. They leave. All right, so all is good here in terms of a request has been made, and they are being compliant here.
Let's go. Do you have any comment on the allegations that you are? I am receiving. Couldn't even get the question out, ladies and gentlemen. He was so angry. Couldn't even get the question out. If there's no trespassing signs. What a coward. He can assault me in broad daylight while receiving taxpayer money. But the minute an independent journalist comes to his home, and he's probably going to try and get me unlawfully arrested now, as you could see back his camera that says you're currently being recorded.
Now, at this point, Sean has walked what, 50 feet? And now all of a sudden, you hear this officer / homeowner shouting at him now. Get off my property. Get the hell out of here. Now, this is where I would say two things. That officer came out of his house. Get off my lawn is understandable. That officer feeling threatened because he's probably exactly what Sean's saying, wants to call 911, whatever. Okay, fine. It's understandable. Like that. Those are things like you'd expect in this kind of situation to happen. You would expect like, okay, you're going to show up at his house. He's going to say, get off my lawn. He's probably going to call the police on you. That's all stuff in a situation like this that would not be shocking, would not be unexpected at all. Even he's saying it, he's probably calling the cops. He's going to hit me up with trespassing. Like that's all to be expected here. This is the portion now where this truly becomes extremely chaotic and shocking, where Sean is already retreating, and now this officer who has already obviously witnessed him kick back at least 50 feet is now going on the offensive.
And he's probably going to try and get me unlawfully arrested now. As you could see, I moved back his camera that says you're currently being recorded. I film this guy. You're crazy. What do you think I'm doing, you psycho? You have a weapon in your hand? What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't have any weapons. I'm a journalist. What do you think I'm doing, you psychopath? What do you think I'm doing?
Now, get off my property.
So this is, I mean, at this point, Sean has to start asking himself one question. And this was a thought when I saw this earlier this evening. Does Sean now have to consider himself in a self-defense situation? when you have someone charging at you and they're brandishing a weapon, regardless of whoever they may be, this is now not even arguably, this is now definitively a self-defense situation where Sean now has to ask himself, is this guy now going to raise the gun at me? Is he going to push me? Is he going to shove me? This is that. For this officer, regardless of whatever he's been, accused of or whatever he may have done, regardless of whether or not it's true, false, or over-exaggerated or even under-exaggerated, whatever, I don't believe it's in this cop's best interest to do any of this. I think that, if you wanted to say, get off my lawn, call the cops, whatever. But when you have someone that's really essentially complying with your request, which is, I do understand that Sean did lag there for a while. He did talk, whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. Maybe he didn't get off the property as quickly as he would have liked. Okay, fine, whatever. But at the end of the day, Sean was still walking backwards. And even when this officer, this sergeant, comes out of his house, Sean is even still backpedaling in this moment as well. So there's nothing here that Sean's doing in any way, shape, or form to warrant this level of aggression from this off-duty state police sergeant. He should basically, in this situation, say, if you want to come and say, hey, get off my lawn again, fine, okay, whatever. But if you're going to say, oh, I'm going to pull out a gun now, and I'm going to basically scare you off my property, that's where this really starts to become controversial. Like I said, there's no issue. Like, we all have the right to tell anybody to get off our property that we want to. We do. We have the right to call on cops on somebody if we want them off our property. I don't disagree with that. Objectively speaking, I don't disagree with that, regardless of whoever it may be and whatever the scenario is. But in this particular situation, you've asked an individual to get off your property. They're complying, maybe not as quickly as you'd like. Does this warrant brandishing a firearm? Does this even warrant, even if he didn't have the firearm, walking across his property and getting in his face like this? Because this now could cause a physical altercation when there was no really back in the property up at the porch level there was really no initial signs at that point of any possible physical hostility or aggression going down. At this point, now all of a sudden it's so, but this is all unwarranted behavior from this officer, regardless of whatever the scenarios are.
Right now.
What do you think?
Get off my property right now.
I'm off your property.
This is my property.
Well, do you see me not moving?
All the way to the cul-de-sac.
Calm down.
Get off my
that gun out
fucking
of your
property.
hand. Get that gun out of your hand.
Get off my fucking property.
Get that gun out.
Now, Sean, being an independent journalist, having shown up there looking to ask him questions, cannot help himself, and I don't blame him. But now take an opportunity to say, well, I'm backpedaling, and while you're getting in my face, you can't help but chime in a little bit and say some things back to this off-duty officer. This is just insane. But this is, for Sean, does he have to now consider, like I said, is this now not only a potential self-defense situation, is this now a life and death situation for him as well? This officer's introducing a firearm, clearly a deadly weapon, a lethal weapon. This is not the situation you want to be in. I mean, I would be, this is definitely I'm not saying Sean did any wrong here, but this is now, is this more than we bargained for in terms of wanting to show up at his house and ask questions? But this officer's clearly, like we said multiple times on this show, this is beyond egregious here. I don't know I don't believe Connecticut has a stand your ground law, and even if it did, Sean has done nothing to physically threaten this sergeant at his home. He's done nothing to suggest that he's there to attack him, destroy his property, vandalize his property, threaten him in his own home. There's no threats issued by Sean here, nothing. So there's nothing that really would warrant that. I think even in Massachusetts, there's not a stand your ground law here, but basically I believe if someone breaks into your house or is on your property, the only way you can really say shoot to kill them is in a situation if that person is actively physically coming at you. So basically, my understanding or interpretation of the law in Massachusetts that basically if someone broke into your or anyone's home, say they had a battle axe, or whether it's a Jason Voorhees situation or someone armed with a gun or a shotgun, then it's basically I guess you could pull out if you have a firearm and shoot them back. Connecticut, I would say Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York to some degree, different states, but obviously a lot of times probably some similar laws there. I don't know how much different Massachusetts and Connecticut are, but still, there's no warrantedness. Nothing warrants a firearm being pulled here at all. And I would say that him, being on the phone with the cops, we presume, is not really justifiable to say, well, I'm going to call the cops on you, but let me also try to scare you off my property while calling the police at the same particular time on you. And someone said this is a big deal. I agree. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I think this warrants national coverage. Quite honestly, this should be covered by national media outlets all across the country. Whether or not they pick that up is probably doubtful. But this is not a situation that should be untalked about.
Goddamn Connecticut State Trooper.
I don't care who you are.
Trespassing on
care who you are.
Fucking
I don't
property.
care who you
Get
are.
off my fucking
I don't
property.
care who you are.
Right now.
You spit in my face.
So he spits in his face here.
Care who you are.
Trespassing
I don't
on
care
my
who you are.
fucking
I don't
property.
care who you
Get
are.
off my fucking
I don't
property.
care who you are.
Right now.
You spit in my
Get off
face.
my property.
You're
Right
going
now.
to jail now.
Get
Look
off
at
my
this.
property.
Look
right
at this. He spit in my
Get off
face.
my
You said you're
right
going
in
to
my
jail.
face. I'm spitting as I'm talking to you.
No, you spit
Get
in
off
my
my
face.
property.
You spit in
right
my face.
now.
You spit in my face.
Get off my
You're
property.
going to jail.
Right now.
I'm going.
Get off my property.
I've been going.
Right
Since the
now.
moment you told me.
Get off
That's
my
not how criminal
property.
trespass
Right
works.
now.
Psycho.
Get
You're
off
a
my
psycho,
property.
bro.
Right
Look
now.
at the gun in his hand. This guy's
Goddamn
crazy.
right. I'm a Connecticut State
I don't care
Trooper.
what
I really like this comment by Swerve Show here. He is not de-escalating. A responsibility of an officer is typically to de-escalate a situation. This officer is escalating this situation time and time again. He is escalating the situation. Loud, aggressive behavior. This is basically, physically he's charging at him in a pacing sense. He's holding a firearm. This is just all stuff that's extremely concerning. I would say this to any officer, regardless of whether or not you're a good cop, bad cop, or indifferent. I don't recommend this kind of behavior. Like I said, if he wants to kick him off his property, fine, get off my lawn, or I'll call the cops. Like I said, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. This kind of behavior, this officer is really at this particular time really putting his career in the hands of those above him that have the authority to make that decision. What we've actually learned is that they're actually backing him up. But that's really what's happening here. But this is really, really, this is absolutely shocking behavior.
Get who
You are trespassing on my property.
That doesn't matter. You
threatened
can't break
to
the law.
kill me.
I didn't.
You threatened to
You
kill me
lied.
online.
Right. No, I
Get
did
off my
not.
fucking.
So I don't know anything about Sean and this officer beyond this video, but I'm just going to bet that Sean never made any violent threats at any point in time. I'm just going to bet on that, but that's probably what this officer's claiming is probably not true. Just my opinion.
You're a liar.
Right now.
You're a liar.
Right property.
Because you don't face any
right now.
consequences.
Get
You
off
don't
my
face any
property
consequences.
right now.
Don't
This is
spit in
the
my
biggest
face.
mistake you ever
No,
made.
no, it's not.
This
It's
is the biggest mistake you ever made.
No,
Get
it's
off
not.
my property right now.
It's not the biggest mistake
Get
I
off
ever
my
made.
property right
It's
now.
not the biggest mistake.
Get
It's
off
like you
my
are spit in my face.
I
You
didn't spit in your face.
You
I
disgusting.
was spitting
You
on you.
Yeah.
Why I'm yelling at you to get off my
Yeah.
property right
Get
now.
off. I'm off your property.
Okay. Now I want to make a comment here.
Property right
It's
now.
not the
Right.
biggest mistake.
Get
It's
off.
like you are spit in
about-
my face.
I
You
didn't spit in
disgusting.
your face.
You
I
disgusting.
was spitting
You
on
dis-
you.
Yeah.
Why am
Right there. Okay. At this exact moment, it's undisputed that Sean is off his property. I just want to make that point here. He's no longer on his property at this particular point. And this is just yeah. Oh, he definitely spit on him blatantly. It's all on tape, and that's one of the things about modern times is it's a digital age. This video is so sickening to watch again. Here I am playing it on my own show. And it's like, oh, this is really sickening. I'm like Jerry Springer, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe people are acting like this on my show. And he brings out the people on his show that are out of control. But no, this is sickening behavior for sure. And this is the kind of behavior that needs to be, like I said, I don't know, like I said, maybe he's a good cop for the most part. I don't know. I don't know what his rap sheet is as an officer. If he's been in good standing, I don't know. I don't know much about him. I don't know if this is a situation where this is a corrupt cop or a bad cop. But sometimes these officers have been caught up in overtime scandals in multiple states. And he doesn't like being outed by an independent journalist with an internet presence at all. But I'll tell you, he's not helping himself or helping this matter by placing himself and making himself subjected to video that's now going to be the subject of public opinion. That's not a good decision. So I don't recommend that for him as well. And as far as Sean goes, I think, like I said, he at all times was essentially leaving the property. He was always typically, even when he was told to leave, he started moving in the opposite direction. When the officer got in his face, he was moving in the opposite direction. He at no point said, no, I'm not going to leave. He just kind of was walking backwards the whole time. So this is a situation that don't look too good, but this is controversial stuff here. It is.
Yelling at you to get off my property, right?
Okay.
Get off. I'm off.
Okay. Get off my property right now. So again, the sidewalk. The sidewalk is not his property.
You are spit in my face.
I didn't spit in your face.
You disgusting.
I was spitting on you.
Yeah.
So he's on the sidewalk. He's officially off his property because no one owns the sidewalk. A sidewalk is a public sidewalk. Here we go.
Yelling at you to get off my property, right?
Get off.
Okay. He's off the property. Sidewalk is not his property. And in a lot of states, the first yard of your property is usually what appears to be the first yard is typically not your yard either. Usually it's owned by the state in most cases. But this is aggressive behavior.
Off your property. Now what?
Okay. Now what he says. And now he's brandishing a firearm. Now his finger is not on the trigger. His finger is, I know you guys really can't see this, but his finger is not on the trigger. It is what is a mandated thing is that you always, I'll use my my cooling fan thing here. This is my cooling fan remote. When you hold a gun or a firearm, if you're not going to intend to shoot it, you always want to have your finger. So say this is the gun, the base of the gun. You always want to have your finger like that. You don't want to have your finger like on the trigger like that. You always want to have it like that. So the officer is doing that. So it's alongside of the barrel exactly. So the officer is doing that, which is regardless of everything that's gone on, it's actually reassuring that he's at least doing that. At the end of the day, at least he's doing that. But at the end of the day, why is there a gun brandished here? If he wanted to walk out in front of his property and have a gun on himself, like you mean holstered or something, or whatever, it's his right to do so. If he felt that this could eventually escalate and he wanted to have a gun on him, I guess there's nothing he couldn't do in that regard. But to have it in hand, that's a big issue there. Because the thing is, too, when you pull out that gun, it becomes for Sean or anybody else. Now, Sean was able to not panic, but someone else that might have been in his shoes might have said, oh my God, he's got a gun. I need to fight for my life. And all of a sudden, this becomes a lot more of a situation than it ever should have been. And even though at this point it did become far more of a situation than it should have ever been. But here, it's a situation in which you could, it's like they say, never bring a knife to a gunfight, never hunt what you can't kill, because it might evolve into something more. And when you're drawing that weapon, someone in Sean's shoes might say, oh my God, is this guy going to kill me? I better act now to protect myself and just lunge at him and attack him. Like Al Pacino said in that movie, The Irishman, if someone has a knife, you run. If they have a gun, you charge. you know, if he starts to figure this officer might become violent and shoot me, I might have to defend myself. So that's the biggest issue too with brandishing a firearm in this situation. Is you are now, well, you're trying to force someone and scare someone off your property. You might also cause a situation where that person might actually, you know, what if Sean had decided to punch him in the face? What if Sean thought he was going to get shot and killed and decided to just fight him right then and there, but in a self-defense manner because he felt that this officer was so aggressive? So when this officer pulls this gun, it's obviously unnecessary. It's obviously unwarranted, but it's also a situation in which this could escalate the situation in an unpredictable manner. And Sean was able to handle the situation properly. But what if he didn't? What if he said, "Oh my God, I think this guy's going to shoot me. I better fight him off here and do something to protect myself." That's really the situation that this officer is putting him in. And additionally, this officer who simply just wants to scare him off his property may have escalated a situation far beyond what he already escalated it to. So this is a very, very ugly situation to be in. That everyone's putting themselves in here. Excuse me, that the officer's putting everybody in here. You know, like I said, but credit to Sean to just not become overly concerned that this officer had a gun in his hand and just continue to move away.
Look at the gun in his hand.
That's right, I have a gun in my hand. I'm a goddamn Connecticut State Trooper.
I don't care.
You threatened to kill me
No,
online.
I did not.
To myself and my family.
No, I did
Don't
not.
ever fucking come back to my house again.
No problem.
So again, when you're an officer, there's a difference between having a gun in your holster with your hand on the gun, or a gun unholstered. Three different manners. This officer is brandishing a firearm in his hand. The issue here is, let's just say, for example, whether or not any online threats were made by Sean. I don't believe Sean made any threats. I don't know Sean. I don't know this officer. I don't know much, but I'm looking at the situation. I would say there's no justification to be brandishing that handgun in your hand. If you want to say, "Hey, I'm armed, whatever, get off my property," okay, I guess that's, maybe he's within his right to do that. Brandishing it, not good. I don't think that's good. I don't know what the law is in that state, but that's not a good law.
I'll stand right here with my billboard.
You go right ahead.
Yeah,
Go right
no
ahead.
problem.
I don't
You
care.
spit in my face, you're
Don't
going to
ever
jail.
come back to
You're
my
going to jail.
fucking house
You're
again.
going-
I might say this. I don't think most people, seeing you with the gun in your hand and seeing the level of intensity that you're showing right now, I don't think most people would ever return to your home after this.
Assault people,
Just saying.
break people's property, but I can't ask questions about
You're a
your
fucking
overtime.
liar.
About
You're a
your
fuck-
overtime,
My
$75,000
More than
for
that,
a desk job.
More than
More
that.
than that, right? More than that. Questions about
You're a
your
fucking
overtime.
liar.
More than that, right?
So he says $75,000 for a desk job, which is $75,000 a year salary. So that doesn't mean $75,000 in overtime pay here. So this is, now Sean did a very good job keeping his composure here. I'm very, very grateful for him that he was able to keep his composure. Now,
More than that.
Now, Sean right here is kind of like, you can tell he's kind of having that come down moment there where it's like, holy shit, did that really just happen? Did that really just happen? That's a nerve-wracking situation. That's going to cause you a lot of anxiety, probably some PTSD, no matter who you are, at least to some little degree. But that's like, at that point, it's like, wow, did that really go to that level that quickly? But it was an unnecessary situation, and I don't think there's no justification for this. Okay, Sean came to your door. He was going to ask questions he didn't want to answer. You know who he is online. This is no different than when Turtleboy goes to Canton. They all know who he is. They all know who Turtleboy is there. The same thing here. That officer knew who Sean was. Let's see what's that. Mazza, it is $75,000 in overtime. You might want to rewatch the video. So I watched it twice. Okay, so so people are clarifying here. Okay, he made $225,000 total, more than 75K in overtime. Okay, thank you both of you. Okay, so thank you for clarifying that. So they're saying, okay, $75,000 in overtime. So when he says more than that, you know, that's a pretty big statement right there. Okay, 75,000 overtime. Thank you guys for that. I appreciate the clarification. Thank you for that, guys. Still new to this, but I appreciate the folks out there a little bit more knowledge than this. Thank you, guys. But yes, this is wild.
Gotta go. What a crazy psychopath. He spit in my face.
Okay, we got an ad popping up here. Get that off the screen for a minute. You guys can't hear the music, but I can. Amazon's like, sign up for YouTube. You don't have to have the ads. I'm like, I don't know. All right, here we go. We're back.
No, I'm an independent journalist. Get it right, buddy. Get it right. I never threatened. He says I threatened to kill him. Ooh, I knocked on your front door. I'll get that 911 call too, buddy.
He's back there talking smack still.
He probably, I'm a Connecticut State Trooper. Come help me from the camera. Come help me from the guy asking me questions, please, before I shoot him. And I did. And I did. No, you spit in my face and you're going to jail. And you're going to jail.
At this point, regardless of whatever this officer did, which we do not agree with, why is he still getting into it with Sean after he's already off his property? And I'm positive that he's still brandishing this firearm at this particular point. This is wild, wild stuff.
You're going to jail.
He's still holding.
Spit in my face and you're going to. It's all right here, buddy. Right here. It's all right here. It's all right here, buddy.
He just said, get off my property again.
Look at these guys. Look.
Get off my property. He's already off the property, sir.
I'm not breaking any laws. I'm not doing anything.
True.
He just spit in my face.
Get over here.
Well, I didn't break any laws.
You in a second, okay?
For what? I haven't broken the law. No. But do you have reasonable articulable suspicion I committed a crime? What? What is it? What is it?
I got a call from a trooper.
That doesn't matter.
Face and there's a disturbance.
So, Turtleboy kind of alluded to this earlier. It's just this ultimate like side taking here. State trooper called. He said you did this, and that's the facts. I don't want to hear anything else. They don't want to hear about the video. They don't want to hear both sides. Nothing. It's just, we're detaining you.
It doesn't matter. I'm a journalist. I knocked on the door and asked questions. No, I have no weapons on me.
Weapons on you.
We have a camera of mass destruction. I'm putting my camera down.
Don't move until I get backup units. You can put it away.
What's your name?
Officer Romansky. It says right here.
He kind of reminds me of that police officer from Meet the Fockers. Remain in your vehicle. Everyone, remain in your vehicle. Remain calm. Are you holding weapons? Are you? It's like, oh, come on, man. It's just the issue here too is just the and this is what Aidan was reacting to when I watched the show this evening. It's just the ultimate, like, I mean, say like you're a door-to-door salesman or a Jehovah's Witness or a solicitor of some kind. You knock on someone's door and someone's like, oh my God, they're here to kill us, or they're here to threaten us. And they call the cops, and the cops show up and like, they said that you're here to threaten them and kill them. It's like, no, I just was trying to sell like door-to-door Bibles or something. You know, they said that you were there to threaten to kill them. Sir, I'm literally a Bible salesman. That's about as peaceful as you can possibly be. You know, it's sometimes it's tough when an officer comes on the scene like this and they're just immediately, the prejudice is there. And by prejudice, I mean that The cops were called on you, therefore you are this, this, and that, and the homeowner is therefore inherently correct. That's the issue I have. You know, that's the issue we all kind of have here. It's just this immediate action.
Nope, just stay right.
He pulled out a gun on me for knocking on the door.
No, you're on his property.
I'm allowed to go on his property and knock on the door. Yes, I am.
Okay.
No, you got the law.
Okay. Let's just back
I'm
up.
allowed to ask questions.
Sure.
I am.
So let me tell you why we're here.
What's wrong with you? I'm not doing anything. I have no weapons on me. I have nothing. You couldn't stop. He has the weapon.
Okay. Now let me explain something to you.
Yeah, no weapons. He has the weapon.
Recording. Okay. So here's the deal. So here's the disconnect here. Here's the difference. So we get a call from him. He calls 911. Hold on.
I'm not going to speak. I'm letting you speak.
Okay. When you call 911 and say you're
I'm
in a
going to record, okay?
disturbance with somebody, we come code 3, like my lights were on.
You wouldn't do this for a citizen.
Yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't. You're doing it because he's a state trooper.
No, we do
That's
for
why. You're doing it because
citizens
he's a state
and-
trooper.
Okay. We do it for citizens never seen. Okay.
Not like this.
Yes, 100% all the time. If we think there's an active disturbance.
Okay, so I've Googled this now. These are the results on Google. I searched for the following: Connecticut law, can you pull a gun on someone in your property? In Connecticut, you can only use deadly force, including pulling a gun in self-defense or defense of others, if you reasonably believe you are facing imminent death or serious physical injury. Now it says, if you reasonably believe you are facing imminent death or serious physical injury, or to prevent the commission of a violent crime in your home. I would not say that there was reason to reasonably believe that imminent death or serious physical injury was going to occur in this situation when at the time the gun was being possessed. The petition is in the, there's a petition in the description of the video. I put it in there. So if you just check the description of the video, you see the link in there. There's no, especially since the point of this video, in the point of this moment in this video where he's already leaving, there's no justification to suggest that that officer can reasonably believe he's facing imminent death or serious physical injury because he's already retreating. So that is not justifiable for that officer to pull that. Connecticut law includes a duty to retreat, which means you must retreat from, this is what I was talking about Massachusetts law earlier. Connecticut law includes a duty to retreat, which means you must retreat from a confrontation if you can do so safely before resorting to deadly force. So pulling and brandishing a firearm is essentially one step away from basically using deadly force once the gun's in your hand. So Connecticut law, again, includes a duty to retreat, which means you must retreat from a confrontation if you can do so safely before resorting to deadly force, which really, in a sense, is a little different. But at the same time, it doesn't say anything here that you can pull a gun and charge at somebody and basically, you know, bulldog them off your property. You know, you can't do that. So again, in Connecticut, you can only use deadly force, including pulling a gun in self-defense or defense of others if you reasonably believe you are facing imminent death or serious physical injury. And I don't think that that warrants any of that at all in any way, shape, or form. So this officer said that he had the right to pull a gun. Don't think so.
Then we respond code 3, which means lights and sirens, and we're in an emergency response.
Do you see the spit on my face?
I don't.
You don't see the spit on my face? Well, I have it on camera. He spit in my face. I want him arrested. He spit in my face.
All right.
On camera.
Okay.
I want you to.
I ordered 200.
Yeah, I got to get YouTube Premium, especially when I do these shows.
My face.
Oh, 1 second.
You understand that? If I spit in your face, what would happen to me?
Okay. Here, listen.
I knocked on a door and he spit in my face. You can't do that.
Okay, I got what you're saying. What you're saying.
I'm going to go to the test so you can see it.
Let's find out what happened. The whole story.
I'll tell you really quick what happened, okay?
No, tell me.
I'm an independent.
Okay, here's some more information. Is spitting on someone's face assault in Connecticut? In Connecticut, spitting on someone's face can be considered a form of assault, specifically a misdemeanor, or even a more serious charge depending on the circumstances. It can be classified as breach of peace or assault, depending on the intent and severity of the action. I would suggest that a man holding a gun, trying to bulldog someone off their property, spitting on their face, would be essentially basically be assault in this particular situation. I would say the severity of this action was to basically, I mean, Jesus. I mean, that's insane.
Sure. I'm an independent journalist. I'm here peacefully protesting. This man, as you can see from the video footage right here, assaulted me, stole my camera from me. He was never held accountable. I got a tip as an independent journalist that he is cooking the books when it comes to his overtime. I did some research. He gets $75,000 of overtime a year, and he's a desk sergeant. So I thought that was interesting. So I wanted to follow up on it. I went up here. There's no trespassing signs. I'm very familiar with the law. There aren't any no trespassing signs or anything like that. I went up, knocked on the door. He answered the door. I said, "Do you have any comment?" He said, "Get off my property." I immediately started, and his camera will show that. Because I know the law, I don't break the law, sir. I immediately started backing up while continuing to ask him questions. He went back inside, closed the door, would have been the end of it. He came back out with his gun in his hand, got inches from my face. No, I would say less than inches from my face, real up to my face, and spit in my face. It's all over my face right here. All this wet is not sweat. He spit in my face as I'm leaving his property, as he asked me to do. Hey, can I just get your name and badge number, ma'am? Thank you. I appreciate it. I just want to know everybody that's here. That's all.
Yeah. I'm Romansky. That's Bryan. My sergeant right there. His name is Sergeant Bedard. You can talk with him.
He knows me. I know him. He knows I'm not a threat to him. Okay. I'm asking him questions.
I don't know that. Okay.
No, he knows that.
Okay, I got you. But if somebody came onto your property
and asked a question,
so if somebody came onto my property and I didn't.
So this officer is police-splaining, as they like to say, mansplaining away the situation. Well, if someone went on your property, how would you feel? If someone came to your house, wouldn't you pull out your 2-barrel shotgun and get in their face and hold your 2-barrel shotgun? And it's like, no, that's not. This officer is attempting to explain away and justify the situation, basically by trying to say, if you were in his shoes, wouldn't you pull out a gun and scare him off your property and spit in his face too? Come on, everyone does that. This is just insane. This is just madness. I mean, come on, officer. Please do better. Please don't suggest that this is just, it happens every day. We got 100 calls a week where, Jehovah's Witnesses and solicitors go to cops' houses and they just pull out guns and fire a few shots in the air and run them off their property and get in confrontation. We got 100 calls like this a week. I mean, no, dude. No, you don't. Stop. Give me a fucking break. It's like, give me a break. Jeez.
Know them, then I would.
And look at his hand language too. He's like, it's like, stop it.
Okay,
no, he knows that.
Okay, I got you. But if somebody came onto your property
and asked a question,
so if somebody came onto my property and I didn't know them, then I would be a little upset about it. And I don't know.
So do you get mad? Do you get mad at a Jehovah's Witness?
No.
Do you pull out a gun on a Jehovah's Witness?
I say no, thank you, please.
So I know a lot of other shows call out comments like these, and I'm feeling like doing that myself tonight. Janice, I will conduct my show, and I'll tell you this too. You have to really go far to upset MazzaMedia to get them to call you out. I'll conduct my show however I would like to conduct my show. If you don't like that, you can go watch the video. You can go to Long Island Audit, and you can watch the video in full, uninterrupted. Unless, of course, you don't have YouTube Premium, then you're going to need to sign up for YouTube Premium, or else they're going to play commercials. So you might have a few commercials. So, Janice, I try to show love and respect and encouragement to everybody. I love you. I know you don't mean to offend me, but please don't ever tell me what to do on my own show, okay? Because I don't want to have to call you up, okay? Because I don't want to have to stop the show to talk about you instead of talking about this video. So please show me respect and courtesy. And if you don't like the way the show's going, then you know, you can do whatever you want. You can pause and come back later, or go watch another video, whatever you want to do. But please don't tell me, especially like this. Enough, continue with the video. Enough talking, continue with the video. It basically means, Mazza, shut up and conduct the show the way I tell you to do it. How am I supposed to respect that? I mean, come on. Please be more respectful.
Right.
Right.
And they leave.
Did-
Right.
did you-
Do you pull out your gun? Yes. And do you pull out your gun and spit in their face
Sounds like you're trying to question them
as I'm leaving?
as you're leaving.
Right. You can do two things at the same time, officer.
Sure, you can do all.
You could do two things at the same
Do
time.
whatever you want. But if somebody came onto my property and asked them to leave, and it sounds like you weren't leaving.
No. You're. This is why I have multiple cameers. He has a camera.
He has his camera on. Like,
But you weren't here. This is you're missing the point.
Okay,
You're missing the point.
Do you want to show me the footage?
I can show you the footage,
Show me the
but
You got the footage?
wait, I can show you the footage. Go ahead. Actually, you know what?
Thank you very much, Krista. I appreciate it. You love the sound of my voice. Well, thank you so much. Krista, limited edition, says, I love the sound of your voice. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pira, as well. I will continue on.
We'll see what he says, because I want him to write a report and be a liar and then go to jail for that too. He spit in my face. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
What if somebody spit in your face? Do you understand? Right. He spit in my face.
But do you understand? I wouldn't want somebody on my property either.
So, dude, this argument that you're trying to make, don't you understand that I wouldn't want somebody else on my property either? Yes. So if you don't want someone on your property, you either don't answer the door, or you ask them to leave, or you ask them to leave, and if you tell them if they do not leave, you will call the cops on them. That's all you need to do. So he's trying to say, like, oh, well, you know, a lot of times we don't like to have people on our property. Well, yeah, a lot of times, I mean, I don't like, personally, I don't like people coming out. I don't like people knocking on my door either. I'm like a lot of people. I don't like it. I don't like when someone knocks on my door and tries to sell me something. I can't stand it. Okay? So I agree. But this is not the situation here. He was not asked to leave. He was asked to leave, and this officer walked him down the driveway with a gun in his hand. You cannot explain this away. You cannot.
That's I have every right to go to his property and ask a question.
Okay. But
He doesn't have a
What
right
about
to
no
spit in my
trespassing
mouth,
sign?
in my face, sir.
he asked you to leave.
And I began to leave immediately.
He just immediately just jumped.
He went back inside, got his gun. He's on the phone with 911 saying, I have a...
This officer is he's basically conducting, he's being prejudiced here. He's like, oh, he just did this for no reason at all, as if you didn't incite him. That's what he's suggesting here. This officer should be asking more questions like, why do you feel he would have pulled the gun on you for? Did you do anything that may have escalated the situation to the point where this officer would have pulled a gun in this situation? That's how he should have asked that question to Sean there. He shouldn't say, oh, you're just, you must have done something, or he kind of suggests it in a way. This officer should be more professional. Did you in any way warrant this officer pulling out a handgun and spitting in your face? No, officer, I did not. I was asked to leave. I did. I may have arguably or not left at the pace he wanted to, but he did brandish a firearm. And I don't feel like I incited that in any way. This is crazy. This officer, come on.
gun as him and I are backing up. He gets in my face.
My apologies, folks.
On this driveway here, telling me, get off my property, get off my property. Then I threatened to kill him. I've never threatened to kill him. He's a liar, and it's all on camera, so don't make any false statements, you liar. He's lied before on camera. He's lied before in internal affairs reports. He has said that he thought my reports. I'm a journalist. I have every right to knock on anybody's door I want. The minute that they ask me to leave, I leave. That's it. I have every right, and I did leave.
You told me you were trying to ask him questions when he told you to leave.
As I'm leaving. Did you miss that part?
Well, no, actually, I want to see.
I will show you. Ready? I will show you. No. Hey, do you have any comments on this and that? That's what happened.
Thank you. Thank you to the good ones. He goes, yeah, I pulled the gun as I was sleeping. Thank you, the good ones, for the super chat. I appreciate it.
You won't show me.
I want to see what he says first.
Okay.
I want to see what he says first. I want to see what he says, and then you can look at it.
Okay.
I'll let you look at it, but I want to see what he says.
Actually, that's a really smart decision right there by Sean to say, you know what? Before we show you this video, why don't we hear what he's saying about all this first? That way, maybe document what he's telling you. Let's see if it lines up with the video. It's actually, in the moment, that was smart. That was actually a smart decision by him. I like that move.
Then he's a liar.
And this language that he has right here, too, this officer. Come on, officer. Come on. And like I said, I'm not anti-police. I'm not an anti-police person, you know, but I also don't subscribe to the theory that all cops are right all the time. I also don't subscribe to the theory that all cops are good. I also don't subscribe to the theory that even all good cops are good all the time. But not all, you know, bad cops are necessarily bad all the time, meaning that sometimes they are good too. Just look at Matt Dillon in the movie Crash. Even though he was a horrible officer, he did save the woman's life. But no, he was a bad cop. They're justifying his actions earlier in that movie. He was an asshole.
We're going to go from there then. If you can't show
no ID, no nothing, man. We're not giving any of that.
Yeah,
he knows who I am.
Yeah, no, there's an active investigation going on.
No, you have no reasonable articulable suspicion I've committed a crime. You have nothing.
No,
you have nothing.
I do, actually.
No, you don't. What's your reasonable a disturbance? Yes. You better learn the law, man. I'm telling you right now, you better learn the law.
The other way around.
No. Reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime. You see this spit right here? That's reasonable, articulable suspicion. He committed a crime.
Okay, so if the crime's against you, I still need your ID.
Okay, we'll see about that. And I'll give it to you then.
You can talk to my sergeant then.
Sergeant, how you doing? My name is Sean.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Aidan was calling us out before, like this sergeant was waiting in the wings here just to be, you know, wait. He was letting that officer handle it because he was the arriving on scene officer. But then this is now the escalation point where, okay, in comes the sergeant. The sergeant, you know, is kind of like the handshake here and all that. Let's shake some hands.
You know what I'm talking?
He's just a camera guy. He's just recording. I appreciate that, sergeant.
He is not just the camera guy. That man holding the camera over there is the microdots equivalent for Long Island Audit. All right.
Sergeant, I'm an independent journalist. I'm an activist. This is Sergeant Bryan Fahey here. Okay. As you can see, he's assaulted me, taken my camera multiple times. Right, he's a Connecticut State Trooper. He's a sergeant for the Connecticut State Trooper. He works in pistol permits.
Okay.
I got a tip that somebody said that he is currently cooking the books when it comes to overtime. Okay. So I wanted to get his side of the story, see why does he have $75,000 of overtime as a desk sergeant? Why does he have that? It just seemed, I saw it online and I was like, let me go ask him and at the same time protest.
Yeah.
With my billboard truck here. I go up to his door, knock on the door. He opens it up. I start asking him questions. He says, you're on my property, leave. I know the law. I immediately started backing up and getting off of his property while asking him questions still.
Was that like up the road?
Yeah, right up the road. He says there's a no trespassing sign.
Okay.
That sign just says private road. It doesn't say no trespassing.
Okay.
Again, I was on the lookout. It's all recorded for any signage. And you guys are with Groton Police.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, Groton Town Police. There's 3 different police.
Listen, and if I'm coming out a little loud or something, that's not how I operate. It's just
we're having a normal conversation.
Okay, all right. Fun, man. Listen, man, because at the end of the day, he
Yep.
Came back. He went back inside his house as I'm leaving his property, which will clearly be seen on video. As I'm leaving the property, it's a long walk. Yep. So I'm walking backwards, making sure this man has assaulted me. Look at him. He has assaulted me multiple times. So if anything, he's just with questions. I'm not scared of him. So at the end of the day, he's in my face. I'm not going to do it, but he's in my face, inches from my face. Yeah. And he goes, and he spits in my face. All of this is his DNA. He spit in my face. Yeah. And I still didn't do anything because he has a gun in his hand. Yeah. And I left the property, and then you guys arrived immediately, lights and sirens, and I'm trying to explain.
Have, like, you're happy.
I understand. Right? It's all recorded, though. Yeah, that's the beauty of it.
That'd be great. Obviously, you're recording right now, so I understand you can't. You probably don't want to like pause.
Right. Exactly.
I understand.
Exactly.
That, right? But what we can do is we can send you a link through our Axon camera system. You can actually upload the whole video to us because it's evidence, obviously.
No, it's SEAN.
Okay.
I just try to help you out.
Yeah, but it captured.
No, I'm saying he said SHAWN. It's SEAN.
I was trying to.
Sorry. Go ahead.
But basically, if you have information that would either make him at fault, or
no, but I want you to collect this evidence here of his spit on my mouth. This is all his spit on my mouth.
All I see at the moment is just sweat.
But I'm telling you, this is.
Well, I know, respectfully you said, but objectively, that sweat may have also faded off with time or got mixed in with the sweat as well. So, come on.
I feel his spit on my mouth. He is a disgusting, vile human being, and he spit in my face, Sergeant. You understand? And it's on video of him doing that.
So
this video here, it's on video of him spitting in my mouth. Yeah. I'm talking at the same time. He spit in my mouth.
If we could maybe like pause one of these so that we can watch that, and then you can continue filming. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you would like to do.
Here, hold this for me. Just keep it on me, please. Nope.
Oh.
So as you see here, officer, there's me right there. And I'm in this video here, and I'm actually leaving the property. He's telling me to leave the property, and I'm doing that. And at the same time, he's brandishing a firearm. It's like, I was asked to leave, I left. He pulled out a gun. I don't know what more to tell you. Whose side who would you believe?
Just spit in my face. I want him arrested. He's in my mouth.
Yeah,
It's bad.
yeah, I don't see it currently, but I can see it now. So I do agree that you're backing up, but can we just agree? So I agree that you're backing up and retreating off this property, right? Can we agree that we've kind of figured?
You would just close the door.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to talk.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the same person, if somebody I didn't particularly care for came to my house?
This is why, and again, this is not an anti-police perspective at all. But this is a situation where they're like, we just want to try to cool this down. Can we agree, like, maybe you were out of line and kind of warranted him pulling a gun on you and spitting in your face? Can we kind of agree that, I mean, is this officer in the same? I mean, if he had shot the guy 6 times, okay, if Sean had been shot 6 times and turned into Swiss cheese by this state police officer, would that officer sit there while he's on the ambulance like, I know you got shot 6 times. Can we kind of agree here that you kind of earned the shots? It's like, stop. Come on. Stop it. What the hell? This is insane. This is insane. You know, I'm sorry. It's so ridiculous that to me it's comical, especially at 10:53 in the morning at night here. It's comical. Oh my goodness.
I wouldn't come out and get in their face and walk them out with a gun and spit in their face. So can we understand that I didn't break any laws and he's the one that broke the law?
Can you all understand that it's a Connecticut State police officer and I showed up at his house and I was pretty cautious showing up that this officer had quite a bit of power and it was more than likely going to possess a firearm if necessary. So I was probably going to keep it cool and just ask questions. Can we agree on that?
Like, I just don't like this kind of like cop splaining thing where it's like,
No.
you know, you gotta understand, you're like,
He just said
so
cop
can
splaining.
we understand that I didn't break any laws and he's the one that broke the law? Like, I just don't like this kind of like cop splaining thing where it's like, you know, you gotta understand, you're like, you're blaming the victim. It's like, oh, you wanted this. It's like, dude,
that's not
somebody's got to be held accountable.
That's not what I said.
That's crazy, man. Like, and I have no problem showing you the video because I know the law. I
Would
don't
you
break.
officers just admit and concede to Sean that there's nothing that you can do because the man that's the homeowner is a Connecticut State police officer and you're not sure what to do procedure-wise or anything like that because you guys don't want to make the wrong decision? So you're basically just going to take down their sworn testimony or whatever, or whatever, sworn, you know, just take their word or whatever. You're just going to do that as opposed to, you know, taking any kind of action here because we're not going to take any action against the homeowner, but we're going to try to pin it on this Sean guy as much as we can here because we know we can't mess with the state police officer.
The law. I follow the law. I said my right. I have every right to go knock on somebody's door. There's no order of protection in place. There's nothing there. And he told me to leave, and I immediately left.
So is there? Do we not think? I don't know that.
Yeah, while you bring that up, let's see. Is there an order of protection? Can somebody tell me if there's an order of protection here? Well, we're on that because we can find out.
We just have to check on that. I think we've identified.
Well, of course you want to check on it because you want to see if there's anything on him that you can possibly get, depending on him being the absolute villain in this particular situation.
Like we didn't get inside.
Yeah, you don't. He's not breaking the law. He's actually.
No, I mean you or the other person.
Sergeant Fahey, Bryan Fahey.
And what your intention of coming here was to
As a journalist, I'm a journalist. I investigate corruption and tyranny within law enforcement.
Does he know that you're a journalist, or did you identify yourself as a journalist?
We've had multiple interactions
Yeah.
with me reporting. This is the Connecticut State Police headquarters over here.
Yeah.
We've had multiple interactions where, again, I'm not doing anything and he is assaulting. I'm trying to get into state police here. He wouldn't let me in. He closes it on my. And then look,
This happened recently, or
this happened about a year ago.
okay?
And then security stand up on it. He takes my phone from me, violating my First Amendment right.
Yep.
Again, this has been going on, but I'm not saying I'm scared of it. I wouldn't be here if I was scared of it. I'm not saying I'm in fear for my life or anything. I'm saying that I came here as a journalist to follow up on a tip that I got that he is cooking the books when it comes to overtime. And my problem is he spit in my mouth and in my face. That is a problem to me. I don't know what diseases he's got. He could be mad all he wants. I don't blame him for being mad. He doesn't like me. I don't like him.
At least we can agree on that.
Yeah, well, you could be mad, but you can't break the law, sir. You can be mad, but you cannot break the law.
Hold on.
I understand where you're coming from.
Be mad all you want. Rent a billboard truck and put it in front of my house. I don't really care. But you can't break the law. You can't spit in another man's mouth. You know how badly I wanted to defend myself? That is bodily injury.
Well, I mean,
I don't
not
know.
only that, but spitting in his face is, like I said earlier, it could incite a reaction out of the person being spit on.
What type of disease is that?
It's happened to me as well. I understand.
Okay. And I'm sure you did something about it, right? Right?
It's circumstantial.
Right. But I couldn't because he's holding a gun like the coward that he is.
Hey, if I have one of my officers send you a link, can you send us that video so we can upload it? Thank you.
I'm not wiping my mouth, so I don't care if I'll take it. I'll go and take a DNA sample or something.
So the sergeant. So we're both sergeants. He has a camera in the sergeant's vehicle that he can photograph. Like I said, I see.
You don't have like a swab you could swab and get his nasty, filthy DNA from my face.
No, I'd recommend if you want medical attention to get tested, we can.
Yeah, call.
Okay, and you want to get transported to the hospital?
No, I want you to just call an ambulance, please.
Sure.
So I'm going to tell you this now for other, I know there's a lot of stuff going on, but he does want you formally trespassed from the property. So he's going to provide a statement that says you're formally trespassed. So you are not, from this point on, not allowed to go on this property. If you do, you're going to be arrested.
All right, look, I don't break the law, sir.
I'm just letting you know what's going on.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's no shock that came down right there in that situation.
From where I'm at.
What's going on with it? What's going on with arresting him for spitting in my mouth?
Listen, you talk to our sergeants about.
They say we're getting to that, but really what they're saying is we really don't know how to handle this situation. It's not necessarily a sign of their competence as police officers. It's a sign of this is a state police officer that owns this home. We just simply don't know what to do.
Stuff they're going to make their.
Okay.
You know what the higher ups in the state or whatever are going to end up handling this situation.
But I'm just saying it's kind of like I mean, you know about other things.
I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
So as his private property, trespass anybody he wants. You are.
Okay.
So I'm just letting you know. So
If I happen to step on the sidewalk, would that be trespassing? Because that's not a
Okay.
problem.
Great.
just get that thing.
I don't plan to. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too good, man. When another grown man spits in your face, it's kind of like, oh. Yeah.
You guys drive around?
Yeah, basically drive around, protest, bad cops, man. He's a bad cop. I mean, I'm not asking you to, opine on it, but I'm just saying the video speaks for itself. He's a bad cop. He likes to put his hands on people and take people's cameras and allegedly cook his books when it comes to overtime. And I was just asking a question about that. That's all I came here to do. And protest, of course. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 law enforcement officers here. Hey, Sarge, do you have any updates?
So I just talked to him and kind of let him know what's going on with in reference, because I didn't talk to him at all. So I just kind of got little bits and pieces of his. We made sure that we have his video evidence as well. Have we gotten evaluated by these guys yet?
They said that there's really nothing they could do for me, so I'm just gonna go get tested at the hospital or something. I'll figure it out.
Okay. Do you want to get transported?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
No,
All
that's
right,
fine.
so you're good with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just need a little bit of information from you when you get a moment.
Sure.
Is there anything else we can do for you?
No, that's it. Thank you, man. I appreciate you coming out. So I don't want to waste your time. Thanks, guys.
Good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Take care.
Have a good one.
I like your video.
Thank you.
They probably don't want me to say that.
I know Aidan had talked about that on a show. He goes, yeah, that one of the EMTs was actually a fan and a follower of his. I like your videos, man. Nice to meet you.
They would only not want you to say that if they weren't on the up and up.
He said the right thing. Say whatever you want.
Yeah, free speech. That's what I fight for, right? Free speech.
That's all you're all about.
Free speech.
And look at what's happened here. I mean, he simply went to a state police officer's house that he had suspicion of. He felt that the state police officer was up to no good, was doing no good. He has a long-term history of incidences or reporting on this particular officer. He goes to his house, and it's immediately treated like a major incident with numerous cops there. Just so much going on here. They even, I believe, they tried to up his bail revocation. That was bail or whatever it was with this. They forget what it was exactly now, but they upped whatever it was. It was $10,000. Now it got up to $75,000. He was saying when he was on Turtleboy earlier today. So yeah, it's crazy how outrageous this gets. It goes to show you, as an independent journalist, whether it's Massachusetts, Connecticut, or possibly even a lot of other states as well, when Sean was 15,000 up to 75,000. The irony in it being 75,000, quite frankly. But no, this is what happens. It appears they will do everything to shut you down for really shining any light on them that they don't want shined, or even in any way, shape, or form confront them on anything in a way that they deem unacceptable by their definition, whatever it may be, in various circumstances. But this goes to show you how wildly out of control this can get, that even if you're, you appear on someone's property, which is not a crime. If you are a journalist, you want to ask questions, which is not a crime, but you're asked to leave and you comply, which is not a crime. And then they start to pursue after you, actually pull a firearm, spit in your face. This is not a situation where Sean here should be finding himself in any kind of trouble. It should be more like, well, you're free to go, but we're going to have to look into what this officer did. That should be the correct response. It's insanity.
You guys.
Take care.
Okay, now here comes the next piece.
Camera.
Statute specifically, and there's nothing that specifically states that spitting on somebody is an assault unless it caused you physical pain. The only thing that
Physical pain. Okay.
assault fits is physical pain, and that's under the exception of if you spit on an officer.
One of my concerns too is that this is not to knock police officers, but my concern sometimes can be, are police officers sometimes in some rare scenarios ill-equipped to properly handle the scenarios in the manner that the situation needs to be handled. In other words, not all cops are perfect. No person is perfect, but are they oftentimes ill-equipped to handle scenarios such as a homeowner being a state police officer? Are they worried that if they handle this inappropriately, is there going to be blowback from people up above them? They're going to come from their commanding officers and rain down on them. So what I'm saying is that, are they being favorable towards the homeowner, not only because he called the police, but also because they're worried about any blowback their department might get from the powers that be above them if they don't handle the situation in a manner that is more favorable to that state police officer who owns that house? These are the things that I wonder.
Then that is when bodily fluids become involved.
So he could spit on me in my face and in my mouth, and that's not against law?
Circumstances, I'm saying that it doesn't really fit the assault charge.
So what you're telling me is, if he spits on me, being Sean, then, well, that's not befitting of any kind of form of assault. But if he in turn had happened to spit on an officer, well, that's a whole horse of a different color, isn't it?
You can't spit on an officer because in the assault on an officer charge, bodily fluids are included.
Okay, so for assault on an officer in the state of Connecticut, bodily fluid is included as an assault on an officer, but there is not an equal law if someone spits on another human being. So any citizen can walk around. I mean, a citizen could literally walk around a shopping mall in Connecticut and just start spitting on people. He could be like a super spreader of germs and just spit on anybody he wants in a shopping mall, but that would not be 24 counts of assault. But if an individual happened to spit on a cop, well, then, that's assault.
So there is no charge. You're telling me, as a sergeant of the Groton Police Department, you're telling me there is no charge for a grown man spitting in another grown man's
telling you
face.
that it doesn't fit assault.
Well, what does it fit?
Well, let me ask you a question, sir. If a civilian assaults a civilian, is that assault? And if a civilian assaults an officer, is that assault? It always must be, if someone, it always must be consistent. Jeez.
Isn't that your job to find out? What does it fit? Like what crime it is?
Breach of peace, but you're on his property. You interacted. You engaged the interaction. I mean,
he told me I was trespassing. He no longer wanted me on his property. I cooperated with him. He, taking the role playing as Sean here. I cooperated with his request to leave. I complied. I was leaving the property. He spit in my face. He was brandishing a firearm.
So if it's a breach of peace, arrest him for a breach of peace.
well, that's the other issue that we're going down right now is you guys are also in violation of a breach of peace.
No.
Okay. I role playing as Sean here. Sean knocked on the door. He wanted to ask questions. I mean, let's be honest here. Sean could have been trying to sell him the Sunday paper in this situation for all we care. That's not, well, knocking on someone's door to ask questions or talk to them is not a breach of peace. If you're asked to leave the property and you leave, then you complied. That does not warrant. Come on.
As well as
I mean, take us
voyeurism.
both then. Take us both then. It's not voyeurism. It's not voyeurism to knock on somebody's door. Or that's not.
It is if he has a reasonable expectation of privacy and you invade on his curtilage.
Okay. Every citizen in the United States of America has a reasonable expectation of privacy, but it is not a crime in any shape or form, no matter who the person approaching the door is or who the person is living in the house is, to expect that that would be a violation of privacy and warrant anything. That's not a crime. It's not a breach of peace. Yeah, I wanted to ask the guy a question. The guy was agitated. He was told to leave, and he began to leave. The situation escalated because the officer escalated by pursuing him after he was told to leave. That is the issue here. The issue here, there is no issue that Sean knocked on his door. There is no issue that he was told to leave. No issues. The issue is that this officer pursued him, was confrontational, spit in his face, and was brandishing a firearm when there was no imminent threat. That's the issue here. It's not. This is the scary part about the law in our country and various states, is that oftentimes law is left up to interpretation, and that interpretation can often be, or sometimes be, or minimally be misinterpreted or not properly interpreted. And this can all be blah 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 blah. It's like you can't explain this away. The officer pulled a gun. The officer spit in his face. It's not like Sean was armed. It's not like Sean spit in the officer's face and then the officer spit back.
And you're recording.
You're wrong, but do it. Then I will gladly.
Okay, he has the right to record.
It is if he has a reasonable expectation of privacy and you invade curtilage.
No.
And you're recording.
You're wrong, but do it. Then I will gladly go take the ride. Arrest us both for a breach of peace.
Well, then turn around for me.
Do what you got to do, man. Do what you got to do. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
All that for you. 1, 2.
He didn't even.
So all of this is now, to summarize what's going on here, he's being arrested. He's being arrested. Now, all he did was knock on his door to ask a question, was told to leave and left. He was pursued by an off-duty officer with a gun who spit in his face and was confrontational. And this is warranting arrest. Now, I want to also add a footnote here. This is after this arrest that's going on right now. This is after they saw him actually show them the video of what went down. Think about that for a moment. They actually saw the video at this point.
Do anything. He didn't even do anything. He was just recording.
Yep. I guess that's why you're getting arrested as well.
And they're arresting
on this private
they're arresting this other guy.
Property, initiating this
recording on private property.
Caused a giant scene.
Let's look that up. Connecticut. Can you record on someone's private property? Let's take a look at that. Connecticut. Connecticut. Can you record on someone's property? Let's see what this says. Oh, this is interesting. This actually might go against them here. In Connecticut, recording someone on their private property generally requires their consent, especially if it's a hidden recording or if the recording captures private conversations. Now, I want to point out something that was said by that officer. Sean advised that officer when he was leaving and that officer was pursuing him. He goes, "You're being recorded." And the officer said that I don't care if I'm being recorded. Can that not be interpreted as that officer consenting to the recording in that particular case? If he said to him, "You're being recorded," he says, "I don't care if I'm being recorded." Well, then isn't that not consenting to the recording? Let's see. Recording someone on their private property generally requires their consent, especially if it's a hidden recording or if the recording captures private conversations. However, there are nuances depending on the context, such as whether it's a public or private space and whether the recording is of a conversation or of a visual image. On private property, the property owner generally has the right to determine whether recording is permitted. So I would say, I would say, I don't know whether or not that's true or not, but I would say if the lawyer was involved, can the lawyer not make an argument that when he told him you're being recorded, that he consented to that by saying, "I don't care if I'm being recorded." And he never once said stop being recorded. Someone else made a point. Let's see what this says. Mazza, he's allowed to record him if it's hidden. They had no lawful reason to arrest Sean. Okay, thank you.
He spit in my face. Are you going to take him to jail?
We're gonna deal with that after we deal with this.
Yeah, I don't care, man. Because this is ridiculous.
What would you? Obviously, we're going to bring these into your property. Do you want us to lock up your truck and obviously make sure it's no?
Well, yeah. Can I turn off? Can I turn it off? You're not going to turn it off. I'm not. Listen. All right.
All right. So this is, I mean, like I said, this is just the state.
Turn off the truck.
I mean, this is what we're seeing here in Massachusetts too. It's just crazy to think that, I don't know. This is just wild stuff.
How do you turn off?
No. There's something on the inside.
If you can give me instructions, we can shut it off for you.
Oh, it's actually in my phone.
You got to go inside the truck from the front.
Like inside the back of the truck,
Right, from the front.
Do you have a Connecticut?
Obviously, if you're in custody, it's like that's all.
Dude, I'm not.
I don't think that you are, but it's how we operate.
All right, so that's going to be enough for one night. So yeah, it's crazy how this is all going on. I know Aidan had actually interviewed him on his show today. I had planned to play those clips, but the show's running a little bit late. Wow. It's amazing. Aidan kind of said, "I relate to you, being in similar situations and everything." So that's just, yeah, they, when the police are motivated, to, shut you down, they'll find a way, that's for sure. In Aidan's case, we've seen what's happened to him. In Sean's case, we've seen what's happened to him, the way they come after him. I guess there's a retrial hearing next week. Yeah, 10 o'clock in the morning, I know. And I believe Aidan said to him he's going to try to be down there in Groton, Connecticut. Groton, Connecticut is way down in Connecticut, too. That's down. I've been into London a few times in my life for basketball tournaments and a couple games, and that's way down there in Connecticut for sure. So Aidan's going to try to be there to support them. But this is crazy stuff. It's on the 25th, they're saying. So 25th, I think it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Just crazy to see this happen. And it's really, too, like I said, it's the ultimate argument of, if you believe Sean did something wrong, why is it that you're not looking at what the homeowner may have done wrong? Brandishing a firearm, spitting in somebody's face. Why is it that he's being, think about it. Either arresting him for recording, but the officer brandished a firearm really unprovoked in a manner that was going to be a violent threat. So this is something that, it's how are you going to look at Sean and try to see what he may have did wrong, or make a case for him to be in violation of something, against the officer who was the homeowner and what he may have done or not have done, correct or not. So that's where I look at this and say, man, this is, look at the power sometimes that cops have. The power that cops have sometimes that, well, he's a state police officer. Does he inherently have more rights than everybody else? Apparently so. But I don't think that him pulling out a firearm like that was warranted. I do not. I just don't. I know that Sean kept arguing about the spitting when he's right about that, but the guy was pulling a gun on him. This is wild stuff. I think we're going to be hearing about this case. I think this is gonna build up here. It's interesting. Aidan and him talked today on Turtleboy Live. Interesting conversation there. But this is like I said, Lara's in the house. What's going on, man? This is another situation where it looks like the cops are going to take the side of the cop over. Like I said, this is not about police. It's not about asking the cops to take sides. It's about asking the cops to analytically and objectively observe the situation. And in this particular case, they didn't do that. He spit in my face, officer. He pulled the gun on me, officer. And then they just they actually showed him the video. He's actually leaving. And they're like, well, we're going to get you guys on recording and arrest you guys. So it's just, it's wild stuff. It really, really is. So they're going to, like I said, when they are threatened by independent journalists or they perceive them as opposition, that's, again, threatening, they're going to try to do whatever they can to get the cuffs on you and get charges on you as soon as possible. So it's really unfortunate. It really is. It really is unfortunate. I think that, to me, how the situation should have gone down is Sean knocks on his door. The officer comes out. Please get out of here. Get off my property. Sean cooperates, leaves. The officer either calls the cops or not. If the cops do show up, the officer stays at his house. The cops say, hey, we just got a call that you were trespassing. No, officer, I was not. There's no trespassing signs. I was asked to leave. I complied. Okay, thank you. Over. And that should have been the nuts and bolts of the whole situation. That's the way it should have gone in fullness. It should have never escalated into this wild situation. And these cops not analyzing why a gun was pulled. For me, the spitting thing, whatever. I know it's a big deal. It is. But the gun being pulled, that's a major issue. That's a major issue. It really is. It's just amazing what goes on. It really, really does. It's too bad. It's too bad, folks. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to MazzaMedia. I'm Mark. I'm going to call it a night. Thank you guys so much. Please have a great evening and be safe out there. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.